WOUB.
Tonight on Newswatch, how Southeast Ohio was impacted by today's worldwide IT outage. Plus, American journalist sentenced to 16 years in Russian prison. And in sports, Ohio football heads to Mac Media Day. Newswatch starts right now. A massive technology outage has swept major services worldwide. Good evening, I'm Allison Patton. Welcome to Newswatch. Here in Ohio, both AEP and Columbia Gas of Ohio reported technical difficulties, but are now back to normal operations. The outage plunged critical global systems and businesses into chaos, disrupting public transport links, delaying international flights, and restricting operations for healthcare facilities and businesses. Sectors from banks, healthcare, and government agencies to emergency response, supply chain operations, and air travel. Ohio has seen a 35-fold increase in number of Lyme disease cases over the past 13 years. Newswatch reporter Haley Swaino joins us from the Ridges with more.
Thanks, Allison. So we're talking about ticks. Now, they thrive in dense brush in wooded areas like this. Now, each tick species carries a different type of disease that can be potentially fatal to humans and animals. I spoke with experts who say that tick-borne diseases are spreading rapidly across our region.
Just like that, he's ours.
Neil Sargent with the Columbus Public Health Department is collecting ticks by dragging a piece of cloth through the brush.
Based on the number of ticks that you collect in that distance on your 1 meter fabric, you can determine what the density of the tick population is in that area.
Collection efforts like this will help researchers learn how and why tick populations are spreading, and that can help raise public awareness about tick-borne diseases, which are on the rise in the state.
The amount of positive cases are going through the roof. Generally, the diseases they vector can be just absolutely devastating.
But they need more data.
We simply haven't gotten the public health knowledge to match the speed of tick expansion.
So researchers are asking for people to help by collecting samples themselves. At a number of parks in Ohio, there are tick collection stations.
This jar in here is for you to submit your ticks. About every month or every couple of weeks, a representative will come and collect those ticks.
But you can also collect ticks at home and give it to your public health department. They will send it to the Ohio Department of Health for research.
What we hope is if we can identify exactly when ticks are most active and where, that's going to allow us to give a much more accurate guidance, not only for people to practice tick-safe behaviors, but for healthcare providers to know where the highest risks are.
Key insights that will help save people's lives.
Tick-safe behaviors include...
Now, experts, they want to remind you to be practicing those tick-safe behaviors. Those can include wearing long pants, light colors, make sure you're doing frequent tick checks when you're coming inside after being out for the day, and you can even use tick repellents, topical ones for the skin, and permethrin treatments for your clothes. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Haley Swaino, live in Athens.
Taking our first look at weather tonight, I'm jealous of Haley being outside. It has been a beautiful one out there. This high pressure has been over our area. That low pressure system that we were just dealing with a couple days ago is still lingering in the East Coast, giving parts of the Carolinas and the Virginias some rain. But here in Ohio, that high pressure has just had those clouds linger around, which has made those temperatures feel beautiful out there. Those clouds aren't bringing us any rain. It has been clear on that radar. The temperatures overnight, they did dip into those 50s. Athens barely made it into those 50s at 59 earlier today. And then as the day went on, we did make it to 87, but with those dry conditions, it has been a pleasant 87 compared to earlier. Tonight we're going to have that overnight low of 62, and as we go into the weekend, it'll continue with these average temperatures being beautiful out there. But once we hit next week, we have that chance of storms coming in. I'll be getting into that in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to Allison.
Thanks, Isabel. Governor Mike DeWine is appealing to the federal government for disaster aid from April storm damages. DeWine requested a presidential disaster declaration for 8 counties impacted by a series of severe storms, flooding, and tornadoes in early April. He says damages total over $33 million above the federal threshold for public disaster assistance in Ohio. The weather events caused significant damage to critical public infrastructure in 8 counties. As Brew Week wraps this weekend, Newswatch reporter Betty Cancan-Boydu reports a mother and daughter enjoying the week with a little twist.
Michelle Trailis and her daughter Mia raised a glass to celebrate the achievement of making their own glass tumblers.
It was really fun learning about how the glass is made and being able to do it ourselves with some supervision, but it was really fun, yeah.
The new experience for the mother-daughter duo is thanks to Athens Hot Glass, which offered people the chance to learn about glass blowing to coincide with Ohio Brew Week.
Blow your own beer stein, rocks, glass, or tumbler, and then you can make your own glass and then go uptown and enjoy something out of that glass. So we thought it would be fun for the event and kind of bringing in the community.
Tiffany McCann says doing events like this will help her grow a glass-blowing community in Athens.
I think it's exciting to be able to work with something and never actually be able to touch it with your hands. So sharing that love for glass, being able to, bring the community in, teach those classes, and we really want to support the community of artists as well.
Reporting for Newswatch, I am Betty Cancan-Boydu in Athens.
The upcoming school year is right around the corner, and prices for school supplies are skyrocketing. Families with children in elementary through high school are expected to spend an average of $875, according to the National Retail Federation. The Southeast Ohio Rainbow Alliance is helping families tomorrow at its back-to-school bash. Chris Neville, president of the Rainbow Alliance, is joining us live to tell us about the event. Thanks for being here, Chris. Could you tell me a little bit about what the Back to School Bash is?
The Back to School Bash is an annual event that we hold where we give out a number of backpacks full of school supplies each year to those in need. Our first one was about 100 backpacks, and now we've gone up to 300 this year.
Okay, and what is the process of getting organized, and what kind of materials do you give out?
So it's a lot of organization and ordering and getting people together to pack the bags, but we usually provide spiral-bound notebooks, composition notebooks, folders, pens, highlighters, you name it.
Okay, and are you accepting any more people coming in to pick up some donations?
This year we did a registration process so that we could better keep track of how many people come. So we do not have additional backpacks, but we do have some additional school supplies for those stragglers that come in.
Okay, and for those people who have registered and are planning to attend tomorrow, what can they expect?
So it's actually not just a giveaway. We're having a party, so there will be free food. We're going to show a movie out at our space. So it's just going to be a fun time for everyone to hang out before school.
That sounds like so much fun. And how much volunteer work does it take, and are you still accepting?
Yeah, we always are open to volunteers. We need volunteers, anybody that wants to. We are so open and welcome to having those people be there for us.
Amazing, and where can people learn more information?
So they can check us out on Facebook or Instagram at the Southeastern Ohio Rainbow Alliance, or they can contact us at board@seorainbow.org.
Perfect, and what does the event help people for?
So the event is largely for those who are not able to afford their normal school supply list. So our new slogan started last year, Community for All. So we are an LGBT organization, but we're also focused on the community as a whole. And we realize we have a need here for us to be able to step up and provide things for people.
Right, and thank you so much for coming here. We really do appreciate it. And for more information about the Back to School Bash, visit the Southeast Ohio Rainbow Alliance's website at seorainbow.org or their Facebook page. Coming up, an American journalist is sentenced to 16 years in prison, and protesters are taking to the streets in Milwaukee.
It has been a beautiful day out here, but when's that rain coming? Next on Newswatch.
Next time on Benjamin Franklin.
We pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Revolution.
Choosing sides means choosing fates.
diplomacy,
Franklin had to convince one monarch to help the Americans overthrow another monarch.
and a final cause.
It's the first debate in American history on slavery.
Don't miss the conclusion of Benjamin Franklin.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
This is you on the cusp of your next chapter.
It's a passageway into something new.
It just seeps into you.
It's a groundbreaking moment.
We can make it ours.
We're coming out hot. We're starting here. It's definitely going to be a treat for their palate.
What a story.
She had the imagination of a genius.
Each time I go up there, it's the sense of newness.
3, 2, 1.
We're all running.
It's beautiful.
Cherish every moment. Continue to laugh.
We hope you'll join us.
There is no going back.
It's time for a new beginning.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Protesters are taking to the streets of Milwaukee to call for justice for a man killed outside the RNC. Samuel Sharp was shot and killed by Ohio police officers Tuesday afternoon. The crowd of protesters is angry with the officers, who are not familiar with the Milwaukee area. Protesters marched through the streets to the Hyatt Regency, which is full of RNC visitors. The group wants the officers involved to be held accountable. They are calling for justice and more answers. Increased calls today for President Joe Biden to bow out of the race for the White House as the Republican National Convention is now in the rear view. Brian Abel has the latest on the campaigns.
A dizzying week in U.S. politics, shaking up the 2024 race for the White House. What began with an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump became a rallying cry for the Republican Party as members united behind their leader. The culmination of the Republican National Convention and at times subdued, other times fiery speech from Trump himself as he formally accepted the GOP nomination for president for the third time.
The discord and division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. The Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy.
The Republican unity, a stark contrast to the division among Democrats.
A big part of his legacy should be him stepping aside and allowing for that new leadership.
President Joe Biden, sidelined, diagnosed with COVID while campaigning in Nevada, is now self-isolating in Delaware and insisting he is staying in the race.
Absolutely, the president's in this race. You've heard him say that time and time again.
Biden releasing a statement today vowing to be back on the campaign trail next week. But privately, sources claim Biden is beginning to take concerns of many in his party into greater consideration, following conversations with party leaders who are worried he cannot win in November and puts vulnerable Democrats up and down the ballot at risk. At the White House, Brian Abel reporting.
Russian courts have found an American journalist guilty of espionage and sentenced him to 16 years in prison. Wall Street journalist reporter Evan Gershkovich has been held in Russia for 15 months, accused of spying for the CIA. He has vehemently denied the charges. The White House says Gershkovich was targeted by the Russians simply because he's an American and a journalist. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the United States is working, quote, quite literally every day to bring him home.
Currently out there in Athens, 87, those clear skies. The humidity at 29, that is very low. We're used to having those in about that 50% range, and to be at that 28, it makes 29, that 87 really feels like that dry heat, so it isn't being too sticky out there. Currently Athens at 87. As we go more north, Lancaster not even in those 80s at 78, Zanesville 82, just on that brink. As we go a little bit more south, they're having those clouds that we've had throughout the day. Currently, we're in the clear, but those clouds are going to be making their way in for Athens tonight. That overnight low of 62. Throughout these last 24 hours, that low pressure that we were dealing with just a couple days ago has made its way off to the east coast, but we're still feeling the effects of the cold front that it brought with it. Combined with this high pressure system, we're just getting the clouds of the low and the dryness of the high. It has been making it these beautiful for these next couple days, and it's from these last couple days and into these next couple days. Before we get a little bit more of this low pressure in the area, you're seeing it off to the Midwest. We're not going to have to deal with that until early next week, but tomorrow morning we're going to have those clear skies continuing. It looks like that low pressure is in the area, but if anything, it's just going to be giving us those clouds that we're going to have throughout the day. Tomorrow night, your Saturday night, continuing with that trend of it. It looks like it's in the area. You might have a couple drops here and there in Pittsburgh and Marietta. Not Pittsburgh, Parkersburg, there we go. But other than that, Ohio, we're in the clear from this high pressure really just sitting on us, giving us those dry conditions that are just continuing, even though we are in that drought. We kind of need that rain right now. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 87 for that high and 62 for that low. As we go into Sunday, we'll have that high pressure over our area. It is going to be kind of breaking apart these low pressure system, giving some isolated showers that are going to be coming into the area. You're seeing how it's breaking apart all over the Midwest, and how that is going to be coming for us. Once we look at next week, pretty much all of next week, we are in that chance for some showers. Monday, that 30% chance of showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to be increasing. It's looking like Wednesday is going to be whenever we're going to be getting most of it. And then by this time next week, we're going to just have those overcast skies with that high at 87. Those temperatures are going to increase as we go throughout the weekend. But once that rain comes in, we'll be cooling back down, and then we'll be warming up once again, but still in those very average temperatures for this time of the year. Let's take it back over to Allison.
Thanks, Isabel. Drivers may be getting a break at the pump. The national average for a gallon of regular unleaded is $3.50. The Ohio average is below that at $3.34. AAA says that's down 4 cents from last week. A spokesman says there's a decreased demand for fuel, and that may be because many drivers are avoiding road travel due to recent scorching heat. The summer could be on track to become the hottest on record for the second year in a row. Average gas prices are currently above $4 in 3 states, all located on the West Coast. Hyundai is recalling about 67,000 vehicles. It's the result of 2 separate recalls. The first includes 54,000 recent Genesis, Elantra, Kona, and Veloster models. They have fuel pumps that could fail and cause the vehicle to stop moving. The second is for more than 12,000 2024 Santa Fe's. A software error in their transmissions could cause the vehicle to roll away when it is in park. Affected owners of both recalls will be notified by September 9th for free fixes. Next in sports, Ohio football heads to MAC Media Day. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
There is a Roman soldier in our village.
We're on the precipice of a great discovery. David.
What's he doing here?
The new vicar? You should be out there, causing a ruckus.
Do I fight this, or do I go?
Mind if I join you?
Another Roman, Mr. Blakely?
You'd best take a look. Grantchester, on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 9 on WOUB.
This is Portofino. It's full of love and beauty, but there's always a scandal.
I want to buy your hotel.
I'd rather burn it to the ground than sell it to you.
What have you got yourself involved in?
Be careful. There'll be no going back.
For God's sake, do it!
What's done is done.
In hospital, you deal with cases. On the district, you deal with people.
When mothers come to us, they bring everything they are with them.
There's nothing nicer than a fresh start.
You have done your best. Sometimes our best must be enough.
We're gonna take good care of you. We're with you now.
On The Great American Recipe, we want you to prepare a family-style dish for our holiday table.
This skillet was my grandmother's. It's like she's in the kitchen with me.
That's what the holidays are all about.
Here we go.
Make us something your family will be proud of.
Focus.
This is looking really delicious.
Frying a whole fish is not an easy feat. Come on, come on. Look at this spread.
That's good. It's a celebration.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
Football season is just around the corner. Newswatch reporter Shane Scalfaro has the latest on a local high school team and the Ohio University Bobcats.
Yeah, Allison, starting with high school, the Vinton County Vikings are coming off a season where they won a TVC Ohio title, but there's a new captain manning the helm. Yet the team doesn't look as different as you might expect.
Oh, they about to learn tonight.
Vinton County Vikings' new head coach Marcus Games is fired up in his new role following the departure of his boss, head coach TJ Carper. With Games as his offensive coordinator, they led the Vikings to their first TVC Ohio title in over 20 years last season, and Carper won Gridiron Glory Coach of the Year. Carper is now the head coach at Zanesville, but he knows Games has the traits to get the job done.
He's a fiery guy, man. He's a fiery guy, high energy, a relationship kind of a coach too, man. So, those are the things that you need.
Both Carper and Games understand how important continuity is at the high school level.
These kids deserve that you guys are there, and it's the same, and the programming can go on, and the things that we have sent over the past 3 years can stay in effect.
We can hit the ground running with a system that we've been running for 2 to 3 years.
Players wasted no time rallying behind their new head coach.
A bunch of us went down to where they announced it at and graduated, and it was about 10 players that knew about it.
The team lost 18 seniors to graduation, but Coach Games is using that as motivation for the team.
We love that they helped us take us to a championship. The way that we can show that honor and that love is by how we play, how we commit, how we prepare.
And the team has confidence in themselves despite all the noise.
I know a lot of people were thinking that, we ain't going to be like last year. We ain't going to be as good as last year because all the seniors we lost, but I guess we'll see.
We'll see how this new VC team looks when they face off with Unioto in Week 1. In the meantime, stay tuned for more Gridiron Glory content in the coming weeks, with Season 25 debuting August 23rd. That's out on X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. For written content, head to woub.org/gridiron. Whatever you need, we've got you covered. Let Gridiron Glory be your source for all things high school football in Southeast Ohio. And remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory. We're just over a month from Ohio football kicking off its season opener at Syracuse, which means it's time for the MAC football kickoff for media. Newswatch's Grant Kiefer was there to get a feel with some of the Bobcats ahead of the season.
Shane, happening today, MAC Football Media Day, which can only mean one thing. Football season is right around the corner. And what better place for Ohio football to celebrate it at than at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio.
There's a lot of games on the Ohio schedule to be excited about between Syracuse, Kentucky, and against rival Miami, Ohio, but there's one that safety Jeremiah Wood has guaranteed the Bobcats will be at.
Championship as well. We made it to it 2 years ago. Unfortunately, we didn't win again, but we want to make it again this year. So.
It's no secret that the Ohio Bobcats lost a lot of talent on both sides of the ball, but one ramification of that, head coach Jim Alvin says, is the intense position battles they faced in practice.
But we've top to bottom have improved our roster. It'll be the most competitive at each position in my time at Ohio, which is going to be my 20th season. So we've got a very challenging task ahead of us as a staff with that competition and making decisions. So, but it's very, very exciting.
2024 will be the first full season that senior Parker Navarro will start at quarterback for Ohio, but he wants fans to know he's a different quarterback than the last one, Curtis Rourke.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to put on for the Bobcat fans.
But Curtis and I are two very different players. And so, you know, as much as I want to like follow into those footsteps, I also want to trailblaze for myself and, you know, for this team and see where we can go. So there's always going to be a little bit of pressure, but hopefully it'll be a beneficial thing.
Football season is right around the corner. It's so close you can smell it. Reporting for Newswatch, Grant Kiefer in Canton.
Can't believe football season is already around the corner. Thanks for the report, Grant.
Still ahead, are you prepared for an apocalypse? This big box giant is ready. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
It's in our blood.
It is living your culture to create.
The soul, that energy, it's me.
We are entertainers first. That's my stage.
There were some anger issues.
You cannot be serious!
If you say sex god, I hope I was popular for my tennis.
She made women believe that they are equal to men.
Tennis was absolutely massive.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
There is going to be a terrible scandal.
Anything interesting?
This is our chance to be together.
The name's Sherlock Holmes. Want to see some more?
Oh, God, yes.
So lovely to see you again.
This is I, Hamlet.
The show must go on.
We'll get along splendidly.
Finally tonight, if you're worried about the zombie apocalypse, an alien landing, or some other civilization-ending event, you need to be prepared. And big box retailer Costco is now selling food buckets that seem to be tailor-made for the extinction event, survival readiness. The ReadyWise emergency food supply bucket contains 150 freeze-dried food servings and has a 225-year shelf life. In total, it provides 25,280 calories in various freeze-dried meal choices. They include teriyaki rice, pasta Alfredo, potato pot pie, and apple cinnamon cereal. The food bucket is listed online for $80, but you can get it for less at some Costco stores. I, for one, would have loved this as a kid. What about you, Shane?
I feel like I'd be scared. If I have this, that means I'm prepping for something, and I don't really want anything to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get along with those doomsday preppers. I mean, if it's your thing, I get it, but like, it's a little extreme, but I understand it for Costco. They got everything out there. Well, tonight for those forecasts, we're going to have that overnight low of 62, those mostly cloudy skies. We've had a little bit of that clearing throughout the day, but those clouds are going to be rolling in. Our weekend, today we had those partly sunny skies, and then as we go throughout the weekend, we are going to be warming up with those lows being at about the same, but those temperatures every day ramping up until we hit this time, before we hit early next week. We're going to have showers all throughout the week, but this weekend it is going to be a lot nicer out there. Next week, that's whenever the chances of storms start rolling in. Those temperatures really starting to cool down whenever we're in the peak of our showers. And then this time next week, those rain chances are gone, but those overcast skies are staying.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Haley Sueno, Shane Scalfaro, and Isabel Isco, I'm Allison Patton. Stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.